What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Show Eva from Sugar Earth Media, and today I'm really excited to be back with Better Call Saul. We are finally here with the last episodes. It is the final mid-season premiere ever of Better Call Saul, and I don't know what I'm going to do without my favorite show, guys, but I'm really excited to get into it today with you guys and break down the episode, recap what happened. Of course, there will be spoilers in this video, so watch out for that if you haven't watched the episode yet. I can't stress enough how amazing the show is. Most atmospheric show on television. Vince Gilligan directed this episode, and some of the most inspired directing choices I've seen in a while. And we start off with a great teaser. Of course, we know at the end of the episode, if you watched it already, you know what this teaser means. But I just want to point out how specific the camera choices are, and how they really stress putting us in the scene first and foremost. Like, the sound design, the camera choices, how we're seeing the water, we're hearing the waves, we're really put in that place. I can practically smell it, and that's what makes this show so good. And we really draw everything out. We milk 100% of the suspense out of absolutely everything, and that's what makes this show so good. So we have a mysterious opening that, of course, has a tragic connotation by the end. This is a big episode. Basically, we conclude the arc of the first half of the season, and I have no idea what the hell what is coming after this. Does anybody have any idea what's happening after this? Nobody knows. I think we're getting our first time skip ever. I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, you guys can't see the Namaste plate over here, but this is, of course, Howard's car. So we see the ring and the wallet on the dashboard here, and with that and the shoes, I already saw where we're going with this and how this is like part of the cover up. But I like the imagery here and how specific everything is. And you see the ring and the wallet, and I feel like there's some symbolic connotations to this. I told you guys last week, or was it not last week, of course, but last episode, or was it the episode before that, where we talk about Kim a lot, and I feel like Kim's been setting up kind of a long con, and she's going to end up leaving Jimmy eventually, especially after this episode. Everything that being with Jimmy has put her through, I feel like she's going to be leaving eventually, and maybe that's what this is kind of here to represent. I don't know, just speculating. The ring on the dashboard, at the final image of the final mid-season premiere teaser, you guys see what I'm saying? It's a significant image. I don't know if it has a broader meaning than that. I'm just speculating at this point. But that was my first instinct. I was like, I told y'all, Kim's sleeping. But I was getting a bit ahead of myself. But I love how we start with the candle, because the candle is a very memorable image last episode, and that, of course, the flickering light represented people entering the home, or the apartment rather, and that's, of course, when Lalo showed up. It represented Howard showing up, and then it represents Lalo showing up. And at the end, Lalo and Howard are buried together. So the candle image unites the two of them, and they're buried together, entombed at the end. So that's a bookend that people might not have caught. But I really like how atmospheric this is. Again, it's setting us into the scene. The show is aware that there's been a time since the audience has seen this episode. They need to bring us back into the horror of that moment, because we've already processed at this point as many weeks away. So they really set up these oblique angles. We got the rushing blood. These are the kind of shots where in a normal show you might get one or two of these kind of shots. There's like 4 or 5. They spend a lot of time getting all these shots, and the sound design is very specific. They really get us in this moment, because it's very crucial for us to remember as an audience. So I really like how specific the directing choices are, and we're already like 4 minutes in, and we got to start speeding through the episode, guys. But I like this kind of negotiation scene here, and it's a really nice twist that Jimmy tries to convince Lalo to send Kim instead. Of course, Lalo wants to use them as a distraction, and he reveals that he knows, Nacho led Lalo to Jimmy. So this is almost an act of revenge, and wants to bring him into the plan He's really thinking ahead here, and he really understands how Gus works. So that's what's interesting between Gus and Lalo is they really understand each other very well. So they're both very good at envisioning what the other person is doing. So that really it makes for very interesting villain dynamic. So I really like that. I didn't know what Jimmy was thinking at first, but of course the simplest answer is the best. He just wanted to get her out of there, and I really appreciate that. But she's bringing the heat this week. The acting insane, like next level stuff. But we already know that. I mean, we expect it. I mean, honestly, but I just don't want to take it for granted because this show is going to be going away soon. But I love how when they start talking, he leans back in this shot and everything. I like how he's almost like, I'm just waiting to see like what happens with this. He's like bringing out the popcorn. He just wants to see. So I really like Lalo's demeanor here. But again, we got to start speeding through the episode. But I really like this negotiation scene. Not at all how I expected it to go, but in retrospect, it's the only way it could have gone. And of course, Lalo, all he's gonna do is tie up Jimmy and leave him, and he's on to the hidden lab that we knew about. And here we get to the part where my friend predicted it a couple weeks ago. I'll get to that in a bit, but the final showdown. I mean, this episode feels so intense. It feels like a full movie. But when I look back on it, like how much really happened, I mean, it's a couple things, but the fact that it was like so perfectly executed and the suspense was very well milked, I must say. So I really like the shot with the camera mounted on the chair. But again, we need to move because we're almost 10 minutes into my video review. And we're not even 10 minutes into the episode, so we gotta speed through. But yes, I like, anytime we're driving with Kim, I'm getting stressed out, because I think of the scene where she got in the accident. But then she pulls up next to the police, and if I was her, bro, I'd be like, I'm going straight to the cops. Like, I wouldn't even question it. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I'm like, I'm not killing this random person. And I don't know how to go back and take out Lalo, so we're getting the police. That's what I would have done. And Kim didn't do that, and I'm actually kind of surprised that she didn't. I wonder why she didn't want to go to the police. Maybe just she didn't want something bad to happen to Jimmy, which makes total sense. But I'm sorry, I think I would go to the police in this situation. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But of course, we know where she's going. It's Gus's house. And we know that Gus is not there. And we know that this is a fool's errand. This was always a fool's errand, and it was intended just to distract everybody. This is all just a distraction game for Lalo, and he wants to take Gus by surprise, but he doesn't really, which is cool. So I like how we stay in this control room with Gus while this situation with Kim is happening. And again, really smart directing choices. They kind of separate us from Kim and Jimmy at this point. And we're left to view them at a distance and wonder what's going on with them, because we can just let our imaginations go at this point. We don't need like to see them freaking out or crying or any of that. We already know it's imagined at this point. So it's actually stronger when we have distance shot like this, or when we're looking through the security camera. We're not there with Kim in this moment like we were in that first scene. We were with Jimmy, point of view. Now we're looking at him from a distance. See, very specific, very inspired directing choices. That's what I mean when I say that. And here we get the fantastic reveal of Lalo. And of course, his whole plan all along, we knew he was going here. And we had a setup for this. Gus planting a gun in the laboratory in that episode that I reviewed. I was like, I don't know what's happening here. Why is he doing that? A lot of time was devoted to that. And that same week, I talked to my friend about it after I did my video. And he said, oh, he put that down there for the final showdown with Lalo. And then they're going to get buried under the lab together. And I was like, we're going to find out that they've been buried there all along. And he was 100% right. And I wish I guessed it so I could take credit for it. And I totally could have just said that I predicted it, but I would have said it in the video if I predicted it. You guys know that, and I can't get a fast one past you guys, so no, we're not gonna try that. I love these shots here of the security camera. So we're back at Jimmy's place, and of course that's just the ruse. That's not really what's going on. So Gus decides to go to the lab because he knows somehow, he just has this instinct. He understands Lalo. They understand each other. They have this connection. And I really like how he comes to that decision on his own and how he figures out that Lalo is there. He pieces that together right before it happens. And pretty much the most interesting thing that could have happened. Where we know Gus can't die in this situation, of course. So a protracted shootout between Lalo and Gus's guys at this point would just be so pointless. So the writers, of course, just kill off all the henchmen right away and get right down to it. It's just a showdown, a one-on-one, and I think that was really smart. So I really like how that played out. And one thing I absolutely love with the Gus performance, like the past few episodes, we've seen Gus freaking out like he never has before. We have never seen him this stressed in the entire run of Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. And, you know, that's why I was saying, like, you have to watch Breaking Bad first before this show, because you wouldn't have that context of, like, oh, we've been through all this shit with Gus, and he's never, like, broken character once. So, if you don't have that context, I don't think you get the significance of the Lalo thing and what it means when we see him freaking out. So I think you really should watch Breaking Bad first. But I really like how we see him, all of that goes away instantly. As soon as he knows where Lalo is, the composure is there. I really love that. What he hates is just not knowing. He needs control, he needs composure, okay? He does not care for uncertainty very much, which is probably one of the reasons why he wants to create the whole lab situation. He doesn't want to be dependent on other organizations. He wants to be doing his own thing. So I really like how as soon as Lalo comes up to him, he's Gus, the Gus that we've always known. He's not the Gus that was freaking out a little bit ago. You know, and the brutality of this and everything, Lalo, we've been building up how intense this guy is over the past couple episodes. I love how he's got that complexity of also having like this weird sense of humor and almost like it seems like this veneer of goodness almost that other people fall for. So we've really been building up this character so much, and they really did everything they could with him. They took him to the nth degree, and here's Jimmy getting discovered by Gus and them, and of course they find out, okay, Lalo's not here, and we honestly should have known that. And Gus, what were you thinking, man? So Gus makes a mistake here because he's a little off his game right now. So, you know, it makes sense. You know, usually he's a smart character. You wouldn't want him to be doing dumb things. But I think given the setup of everything that I mentioned, so I think it works. And I really like how Lalo's defeated by the fact he needs to gloat. Like, he can't just kill Gus right now. And after all he's been through, I don't think it wouldn't really make that much sense for this guy to just kill Gus like that. It would be like it would be so anticlimactic to this man. He's way too theatrical for that. So he's going through this whole point of view thing. Another great directing choice, being led around by Lalo. You know, we are in the scene directly. I love how we get to see the vest get used. Gus wears the vest, and you know the acting again, awe-inspiring. Truly, I really am gonna miss this show when it's gone, because the level of detail here. And I like how Lalo mentions that he had the bathtub thing, but he's like, I had the bathtub, but it was nothing like this. So again, smart writing, because in real life that person would say that. It's just I just no other show is like hitting on all cylinders like this, and I'm just gonna miss it, guys. I'm gonna miss it. So I really enjoy the Showdown. There's not a whole lot to get into because you guys watched it. You already know. I like how, Gus gets his opportunity to gloat. He knows exactly what to say to not get shot at that moment by Lalo. And he knows the layout. He knows he can unplug the lights here. And then he runs to the gun that we already know is there. And we get to even see it. They remind us that it's there if you forgot. So I really like that, and then the shootout in the dark, and how they reveal that Lalo is dead is absolutely incredible. He turns on the light of the excavator, again making full use of the location, the cinematic landscape that we're in, and the fact that he put the gun in the excavator is of course going to come back again. It's not they didn't just randomly put it there. He could have put it anywhere down here. They did that for a reason, and they did it so that they can show the body in the light. Yeah, so here's the body with the lights and everything, and I just love this ending here, and the way the close-up shot of Lalo dying is perhaps one of the best shots in Breaking Bad history. Just the way they ended that character is so fitting. So I absolutely love that he smiles at the end. It's that humor, that other side of him that I was talking about coming out right at the end. It's such a perfect ending, and there's just this final shot is going to be seared into my memory. Almost more than every other shot in this episode had so many memorable ones. So I love the way that there's not a better way to kill off this character. There really isn't a better way to finish this story arc. And I have no clue what's coming up next, guys. Does anybody? I cannot wait to see. So we wrap up the storyline very nicely. And I like this. This is a nice touch here with Los Pollos Hermanos talking to this guy, Gus, because he's very hands-on with the restaurant, even though he's got everything else going on. He's always there at the restaurant. He's got to have that image, that veneer. So he really dedicates himself to the restaurant, and he even though he just got shot, the first thing he thinks of is I got to tell the manager or this guy, the assistant manager, that I won't be in. So he's a responsible guy. I think it's a nice touch. Again, like we're so they know that all the characters so very well at this point, and then we get Mike coming back in, and the reunion with Kim. But they're never gonna be the same. Straight up, like, I mean, they've already had several moments like that, but they're nothing like this. So they're never. We don't know who they are at this point. We don't know. We don't know who Jimmy is. We know who Saul becomes. We don't know. We don't know anything about what's gonna happen to Kim. So everything's up in the air. And we had that teaser at the beginning that made it look like Kim wasn't around. So I don't know. Kim. It's all up in the air at this point. So we're gonna get like our first time skip ever, and I like how specifically they pick that the new refrigerator, and they have a whole method of getting the body out. And then this scene, I thought of Mike's first appearance, and I'm pretty sure that's what we're supposed to be thinking of. Mike's first appearance in Breaking Bad was showing up to Jesse's house after Jane overdosed, and he basically gives a similar talk to Jesse about what he's going to do. So I really like kind of bookending Mike in a way. So, and for those who don't know, Mike was written into that scene because Bob Odenkirk wasn't available that day. Bob Odenkirk was supposed to do that. He wasn't available. They create this Mike character, and that's where Mike came from. So I love that it's coming full circle, and we got Mike giving Jimmy this talk, so that we get the full reversal. But that's just an Easter egg for people that know the backstory. But I do think that they did that on purpose. I'm not going to lie. And just another subtle thing, I like how this is off kilter here. It's like off balance. They did that on purpose. It's not an accident. Everything's on purpose. They're very specific about everything. But I just love how dejected they look. And they need to go about their day as if everything's normal. So I'm just trying to picture them doing that. and I have trouble seeing it working. I mean, look at Kim right now. She like that this is like the lowest moment of her entire life. So, and yeah, who can blame them? So, yeah, and then we get the final burial scene, like I talked about, and it's so fitting, and it's a nice little Easter egg that gives another depth, a layer of depth to a familiar location from the original series. So adding a nice little Easter egg, and I can't believe my friend predicted it 100% right. Now he didn't guess Howard was going to be there too, but but now it's come full circle, and I think the hardest job of the week was done by Howard, who had to be dead in very many situations, including getting shoved in a refrigerator. So not very fun. But yeah, they're burying the bodies, and that is the end of this mid-season premiere. And they eschewed a typical preview for next week. So again, they're leaving us fully in the dark here. This is the first time in Better Call Saul history where we don't have some idea of what the next episode is going to be about. I don't think there's even, it doesn't really seem like there's any storylines lined up that I can really think of right now that is going to take the place of the Lalo storyline and of course the Howard storyline. I don't know what they have in the wings, but there's only so many episodes left. We're in the final stages here, and we got a lot of things coming up. We got Carol Burnett's going to be in an episode coming up. Very random. We know Walt and Jesse are going to be here at some point, whether that's a teaser or if maybe we're going to live through the Breaking Bad years in some form or another. But we're going to get our first like time jump, I suspect, in the next episode. So I can't wait. I'm so glad to be going on this journey with you guys, and I hope that you will stay with me. Definitely stay subbed if you want to see more videos like this, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. We'll be back next week, and we got Resident Evil on Netflix series coming out this week. I'll be covering as well, so definitely stay tuned for that. And with that, it's been your boy Shuggy, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.